Yeah, I can hear you. Good morning. I'm going to run a little Brian Tracy.
We're going to talk about the principle of concentration. In my estimation, the ability to focus and to concentrate single-mindedly on one thing at a time are the two key qualities of success. The lack of focus and the lack of concentration explain more failures than perhaps any other two single principles in the field of success and business. Every great human achievement is the result of single-minded concentration. Nothing great was ever accomplished except by sustained, concerted energy focused on a single point. One of the most important military principles is the principle of mass and concentration, bringing all your powers to bear on a single point and carrying it overwhelmingly. You see, the natural tendency in life is always to do what is fun and easy rather than what is hard and necessary. Few activities require greater self-discipline than picking your most important task and sticking to it without diversion or distraction. And then the rewards, concentrated, directed activity is a source of energy and enthusiasm. When you're working on something single-mindedly, without diversion or distraction, on something that's important to you, the more you work on it, the harder you work, the more progress you make, the more excited, the more energetic, and the more enthusiastic you feel. And when you finish the task completion generates a feeling of competence, mastery, and self-esteem. And this is critical to understand, because remember, our true feeling of self-esteem only comes from a feeling of competence. And competence requires that we complete a task. And it also requires that we complete important tasks. And all important tasks tend to be difficult and require tremendous discipline to force ourselves to finish the few final steps that give us that winning feeling, that excitement of having crossed a critical finish line. Your personal effectiveness will be determined by your ability to manage your time to its detailed plans for their accomplishment. We said a little bit earlier, under the principle of purpose, that you must have clear goals in order to focus your energies and concentrate your talents. And you must have detailed plans in order to work step by step, accomplishing the activities that take you to your goal. The next step is to set priorities on your activities. Use the 80-20 rule, the Pareto principle that we talked about earlier. That 80% of the value of what you do comes from 20% of what you do. That any list of 10 things that you have to accomplish to achieve a goal, two of those 10 things will be worth more than all the others put together. Always pick the most valuable use of your time. Always ask yourself, what is the most valuable use of my time right now? This is the key question for time management. This is the question that you must ask and answer over and over again, day after day, week after week. What is the most valuable use of your time right now? What is the most valuable use of your time right now? And always stay with the task that is the most valuable use of your time. Because anything other than the most valuable use of your time is, relatively speaking, a waste of your time and a waste of your life.
Carlos, I'm going to stop right there. I'm going to stop right there. I'm going to stop right there because you know what? I got a message from somebody this week asking me about something, if I wanted to do something, and it had nothing to do with what I do. It had nothing to do with anything that I'm focused on. And I said, listen, I appreciate the opportunity, but I don't really have the time to do that. And I love what he just said, because that is exactly what I had to tell that person, is that I don't have time to do that. Like, my time is very valuable, and it's very valuable and focused on what I do. And I feel like I splinter myself if I start doing other things that have nothing to do with what I do. The time aspect. We've had a discussion about that before as well. I can't hear you. I lost your audio. Oh, you muted yourself.
Yeah, and people don't realize that that it's valuable. You got to do what you got to do. You got to do what you're doing.
Yeah.
And you got to focus on what you're good at, what you're trying to accomplish. Now, when you get to that point, it's like, okay, everything's running on its own. I got my people in place. The business is going. I'm making plenty of money. I got, when you get to that point, then you can start looking at other things. You know what I mean? You got to, but but when somebody comes at you and it's just like, in 2020, when during COVID, some people came up to me and says, "Hey, do you want to do this, this, and this?" And it's like, I just don't know how I would do it. You know, I don't know. I can't commit to that. I
Mm-hmm.
just, y- I'm already spreading myself thin, in time and my days and my schedule, and it's like, how do you, how do you get through it? How would I be able to be good at it? How would
Right.
I be able to accomplish it?
Right. And that's the key right there, is that I don't mind splintering my time amongst the things that I'm good at, the things that I'm focused on. Then I know I'm splintering that time and it's going to be yielding activity that's going to yield fruit, right? But it's all splintered along the thing that I'm doing that I'm good at. And trying to do other things, you know, I learned the hard way of trying to do too many things that are not focused on one or two areas where I can be great. I've learned the hard way that I end up doing bad on all of those things and have many hustles that are unsuccessful as opposed to one or two hustles that are very successful.
And people don't understand it. Like me, it's like I do things that have to do with what I'm doing.
Right, right,
You know
right.
what I mean?
Yep.
My photo booth, the photo booth that we do, we deal with those people. You know,
Yeah.
we deal with those clients. We try to make a one ticket. If I can print for somebody, and I can let them know that we can help them out with their events. Business cards or mailers or postcards or whatever, yard signs, promotional stuff, whatever those events happen to be, shirts, if we do shirts or anything like that, we can help them, with that event, doing printing, and so the photo booth, everything we do is in line with what we do. My commercial real estate, I love commercial real estate because I deal with business owners, you
Mm-hmm.
know,
Mm-hmm.
I deal with retail locations,
Right.
I deal with restaurants, I deal with retail locations that I can help in the future with printing,
Right. Right.
you
Right.
know. Um, I can print for all these businesses, and if I have a business that wants to expand, let me help you.
Yeah.
I can find a place for you.
Yeah.
I could do your signs, I could do your banners, I could do your coming soon, I can get you promoted, I can, I
Yeah.
do everything that I do interlinks together. It's not
Yeah.
like I'm trying to start new things and do different stuff. I can't do that. There's no
Yeah.
way,
Yeah.
you know.
It's all
Everything
aligned. It's all in
everything
alignment.
yeah,
Yeah.
everything I've added to my business just makes one ticket bigger, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Yeah. It's all in alignment. You're all in line with the same thing that you're trying to do. And that's, I'm telling you that it's godly. It's funny how anytime we listen to any of those messages, it's all pretty much consistently the same thing. Like, get focused, focus on, be very clear with your focus, be very clear with your goals, focus your energy. And that is probably the greatest message that, I was able to obtain, from listening to guys like Ziegler and Tracy and Hopkins, right? Is just focus your energy, like focus your energies. Don't splinter it. Don't divide it amongst things that are not in synergy or in sync. I see and knew exactly why you had the photo booth. I see exactly the synergy with the commercial real estate. I already knew that, right? I knew that because it all was along your target customer, who you've been working with, who you've been building for years. All those are just perfect alignments to what you're already doing. So I already knew that. Like, you didn't even have to tell me that. I already knew.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
all on the same target customers you're working with.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, like, I'm not trying to make myself thin. I'm not trying to bounce around or do a bunch of different things. I'm just adding, if I can make my one client a bigger ticket number, then it benefits, all of us. I can help a client do, this and this. Graduation comes around. A graduation comes around. We can help them with a lot of different things. We can do invites. we can do banners, we can do signs in their yards, we can send out invites, we can do yard signs, we can do photo booth, you know. And there's a lot of different things, building a business. Hey, I'm starting a business. Okay, do you need a retail location? I can help you out with the commercial real estate. I can help you out with the promoting and all the promotional stuff you might need, or all the business cards and flyers and brochures to get you started, the signs, the hours on your front doors. I mean, I can it I try to do everything I possibly can um to make it all one ticket, to make it all the same.
Well, and you're building this database of customers that you have multiple products that you can services that you can offer the same customer.
Yep.
And so you're not reinventing the wheel or having to reinvent the lead build, right? As you build and add a customer, you have a cottage industry of offering the services for that same customer.
Right. And I like working with people that have the same like-minded ideas.
Yeah.
If I'm trying to hit houses, I'll work with all the roofers and the landscapers and the concrete and I'll work with, we just ran into a in-house, they do in-house nursing, and they go to houses. So I mean, they want to market to people in the houses, so I'll partner up with everybody, mortgage loans, they need, somebody might need to refinance their house, or somebody might need to, buy a new house, but I'm always doing something I'm always working with someone or doing something to build my business, and I'm focused on that. If you start going away from it, then it gets a little bit more difficult.
Yeah, it gets difficult. It gets less effective, and again, like I learned sometimes the learnings are from bad experiences, and sometimes they're from good experiences. And I learned over the course of years, like he says it in this video, always pick the most valuable activity in the use of your time right now. And if I start going off, like I have a great little nephew, little cousin, some family members, and every time I talk to them, they're doing something different. And I said, man, you just need to really just pick something and focus on it. I mean, whatever you pick and whatever you focus on, you're going to be fantastic because you're brilliant, right? But every single time I talk to him, he's doing something different. And do you think he has achieved a great level of success in any of those ventures? No, because
he struggles.
Yeah,
he struggles. They struggle, or they they struggle. That's the best word to say, is they struggle. They might money might be there right now, but then they do something else, and then you got to start all over. And then you got to build up. There's nothing wrong with starting over. You can start over anytime, but when you do it continuously and over and over and over, you're not going to be able to climb. It's you got to stay focused, and you got to be productive, and you got to move forward, and you got to keep at that target.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, the most valuable use of my time right now, boy, I tell you what, that just says it all, right? Like everything I'm doing right now is building on my overall plan, my overall goal for the year, for the week, for the month. It's like when we did the yearly planning, how you talked about, it's like, well, what I want to do in 2022 is going to come down to what I'm doing right now. Like everything has to, break down to a minute or hourly activity that is focused on the annual goal. And so if I decide to go sell Amway, nothing wrong with Amway, love Amway. Right. If I decide to go sell Amway, that's going to take away from my time towards my goal of what I said. And that's where I'm very guarded with my time. I'm very guarded with and I loved Bianca Stala, Remax Beyond, the broker, when she said revenue generating activities, right? What did she say? Is that what she said?
Yeah.
Revenue revenue generating. You got to be focused on revenue generating. So I don't have time. Like I told this insurance guy, I love him to death. I said, hey man, I don't have time to go have coffee with you. Like I don't have time. Like
income producing.
Income producing. Yes. Income producing. He's like, hey, let's go have a cup of coffee. No, here's what I need. Send me your information. When I have someone that needs insurance, I'll send them to you. I don't have time to go have coffee with you.
Right.
I need to have coffee with a realtor.
Yeah.
I need to have coffee with an insurance guy, a financial advisor who will push me some people. And not that the insurance guy can't, but I don't have time for coffee with him. I have time I'll send him referrals because he reached out, right? But we don't even have, there's no need to have coffee now.
That's my biggest thing is letting people know up front that it's like, my wife taught me that. She taught me that telling people up front, I'm not going to switch my business just because I know you or just because I'm there with you. My thing is I will refer as much business as I possibly can. Send me your information. Give me, let me learn, give me 15 minutes and let me learn about your business and what I need to do. What's a good person to refer you? I'll refer business all day long. Doesn't mean I'm going to switch my business.
Right.
If I need somebody to do it, then I'll do it. I was meeting with an insurance agent, I believe it or not, because, there's so many of them that hit me up and this person wanted to do business with me, like, hey, how can we build our business? So then like we had lunch because it's how can we learn how to build our business,
right?
And they bought me lunch, and they said, here, let's figure out how, where we can go, who we can see, how this can work, and when it came down to it and I really needed somebody, I reached out to him and I said, hey, I need, quote on this, I need to move this, I need to move this. And I reach out to them all the time, and I'm very, very thankful and grateful that they did what they did because they didn't pressure me to buy business from them. They worked with me on trying to figure out how to build a business. And when I needed them, I used them,
Absolutely.
So, but you got to stay focused on what you're doing. You got to meet with the people that are going to build your business.
Yeah,
you got to meet with people that are going to push you forward and guide you and help you with what you're doing.
Income producing activities and guarding our time. I love that. Taffy says that all the time. One second, I'm going to play this again because it just spoke to me. 1 second.
There's always enough time to do the important thing. Right now, what is the most valuable use of your time? This is the key question for time management. This is the question that you must ask and answer over and over again, day after day, week after week. What is the most valuable use of your time right now? What is the most valuable use of your time right now? And always stay with the task that is the most valuable use of your time. Because anything other than the most valuable use of your time is, relatively speaking, a waste of your time and a waste of your life.
Woo. All right. I feel better now. I had to hear that one more time. I wanted to talk a little bit today before we drop off about another topic. And that topic is, how many times does it take to get to the middle of a lollipop, the Tootsie Roll lollipop? How many licks does it take to get to the middle of the Tootsie Roll lollipop? Remember that commercial?
Yep. Yeah, I do. I remember that.
So the reason why I said that is because I thought about that when I was thinking about how many times does it take to take a deal from a prospect to a customer. How many times? What is the number of licks to get to the middle of the Tootsie Roll lollipop? And we know from the progression of sale that we've got at least to have 7 contacts, right? We know that from that progression of that sale. And then we also know the impact of making many calls. We know that, we've got to have multiple call attempts. And the more times we call, the greater probability that we're going to make a contact, right? And it's those contacts, right? After 6 call attempts, we have a 93% chance of making a contact. And after we get the contacts, we're going to build at least seven in order to be able to to be the choice of mine, right? So how many licks does it take to get to the middle of a lollipop, right? 6 contact attempts, and then we need to build that relationship over the course of 6 or 7 times before we are the default choice when they're ready to buy. That's how many licks it takes to get the middle of a lollipop.
That's right. That's right. And that's what you need to do is how many times do you need to reach out to people? How many times do you need to do it? How many times it's repetitive, how many times it's a numbers game, everything's a numbers game when it comes to that.
Yep, absolutely. It's it's something that like we have to keep that in mind because it just goes back to what we were just talking about, like that discipline to sit down and to prospect, that discipline to sit down and prospect. We have to force ourselves to finish that prospecting. We've got to do that consistently. We have to manage our time. We have to manage our time so well that nothing gets in the way of that prospecting. Because if it takes 6 attempts to make a contact, and then we have to have 6 to 7 contacts in order to convert to a sale, we know the recipe for success. Like we know it. Like we already know that. But what's the difference, Carlos, between knowing and actually doing? What's the difference between that?
Well, knowing it, knowing, following a schedule, having a structure, knowing what you need to do. You gotta figure it out. You gotta write it out. You gotta set your goals. You gotta figure out, what you need to do, and you gotta have it written out, and you gotta see it. You gotta have a vision of it, and you can't just have it in your mind. You gotta be able to see it.
Yes, absolutely. Having it written down, having a plan, having it scheduled, seeing it, the power of that visual, right? So many of us are visual learners, but that writing it down, that seeing it is talking to our subconscious, right? Which is what drives us. Our subconscious is what drives us. So we got to see it. You're right. That helps us get there. That helps us get there. But the discipline, right? The discipline is key. We have to force ourselves to finish. That discipline is key. Were you gonna say
That's
something?
right. No, discipline. And you got to stay focused, and you got to move forward.
Yeah.
You got to stay focused at what you're trying to do, and you got to do it. You got to implement.
Absolutely. I put it up on the screen. It takes 6 attempts typically to make a contact, right? And we know these numbers are pretty consistent. They've been tracked over the course of time. Remember Kristen Herman that was here with us. Remember, our guy that was here with us as well. They both were by the numbers. They understood the numbers. Like, how many times does it take for me to get in contact, or what is the best times that I should be contacting them? Remember, it was like morning, lunch, and evening. Like he had his times built out as to when he would contact. Kristen understood the numbers. Like, it's going to take 10 leads in order to get one prospect, and it's going to take so many days to get that prospect convert. They understood the numbers. So like, if I understand the numbers, then all I got to do is just work through those numbers, stay focused, not go run off and sell Amway, stay focused, unless I want to make Amway my thing. If I want to make Amway my thing, there's nothing wrong with that. Amway is very successful, right? But I can't be a lender or a realtor or sell cars and then go start splitting myself off in something that's not even related, right? Stay focused.
Yep. Gotta stay focused.
The numbers make sense. The numbers are what they are. It's the science of it. 6 attempts to contact someone, 93% chance of success. And then after you contact them, it's going to take 7 more contacts in order to be able to be there when they're ready to buy.
That's right.
That's it. I get enough of those in my pipeline, deals come out of nowhere.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You got to just build up that pipeline. You got to build up those people, and you got to build up. That's why I said what I said. It's like, if you got enough people coming in, you got, your business is running itself. You got people in place. You can't do it yourself. You'll never build a business up by yourself. You got to have people. You build people, and then you build the business. And if you have your people in place and all the people are coming in, you got your repeat business, you got your pipeline just tremendously, I know there's some I know insurance agents when their goal when they have 1,000 people in their pipeline, that are doing business with them, not necessarily pipeline, I guess, that are doing business with them in their database. They, they know that that's a good number for them, you know. Um, so you got to have that number. You got to have those people. You got to have, who you got to know who is there and how many people your needs to be running your business all the time, and you got to have those numbers and you got to keep growing. It's not about keeping it consistent. You got to keep growing.
Right.
That's why it's not for the longest time I grew 100% every year. The normal is 20%,
Right.
and you got to just grow at least 10, 20, 25%, you know what I mean? And you got to keep growing. But you can't go backwards, you
Right.
know? You have to keep going forward, even if it's a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. You can't stop, right? You can't get to the 1,000, get to the 100, whatever, and stop. Because those people drop off, those people get out of the business, those people, move, right? So you got to continue to keep that pipeline filled, that funnel filled with new prospects in order to continue to keep the back end of that funnel pushing out fruit, right? So yeah, I agree completely. I agree absolutely completely. You have to do that. And and you see that, like we see that in our business where people will grind it hard for 30, 60, 90 days and get great yielding successes and then stop prospecting, stop following up, stop, pounding the pavement, stop passing out cards. And then all of a sudden they sit around and they go, well, I don't have any deals right now.
Right. Yep. And just like me, I've been doing it 13 years at this business, and it's like, I got to keep grinding still. I got to keep, I just said to one of my staff yesterday, I said, man, I got to keep promoting this stuff because I need more people. I need to fill these mailboxes. I got to get more people walking in here. I want 100 people a day walking through here. And more. And then I'm not going to be satisfied till I get 100 people a day walking through here every day.
Right.
And then when I get 100 people walking through here, I need to have, 102, 103, 104, 105. It's got to keep going. I won't be done until I get 100 people walking through here a day.
Right.
We can't live, when we started, it was, we had 20 to 34 people a day come through here. We got to get 100 people coming through here a day.
Yeah. So Carlos, I know you probably did, but I didn't. Like when I started in this game, like if someone would have told me, hey, Steve, call 6 people, you're going to get in contact with them, or try 6 times, you're going to get in contact with them. Right. And then they would have said, and then follow up with them 7 times, you're going to get a deal. If they'd have told me that, I'd have been like, oh, okay. Right. They didn't have to tell me that, but if they would have told me that, and I told me that the assured success was there, boy, how easy would that have been, at least for me now, to just focus on dialing enough to get 6 contacts, dialing enough to get to 7 contacts, right?
Yeah.
But it's there. Like it's there. We know it now. And most of us have enough people in our pipeline to call 6 times. Most of us do.
Oh yeah. Easy.
Yeah.
Easy.
It's just sitting down and doing it.
That's right. You gotta keep up.
Yeah, it's just sitting down and doing it. And I post every week or at least once a month, and then you do too, leads and opportunities to find people to call. Cork boards, coffee shops, community boards, like people drop their business cards everywhere. Like I was in a juice store this week, and they had a little container there where you can drop your business card to win a juice, whatever.
Yeah.
I couldn't get inside because it was one of those plastic things locked up, but I took a picture of the card because the one on top was a realtor.
There you go. I saw some cork boards the other day. I started putting some up, and then I grabbed some from.
Yes. Yes.
And it's awesome. It's you got to keep plugging away. Every little bit counts.
That's right.
It all adds up. And you might feel like you're just doing a lot of work, but it all adds up.
It all adds up. Yeah. It all yields fruit. I was let's see if I can find it, but I was laughing because, I was dropping business cards, and I have business cards all over that place. they got a cork board. I think I have probably 10 business cards all over the cork board. So they can't go anywhere in that place without seeing my name. So I was cracking up because see if I can find the picture. I don't think I can find the picture, but I'll show you and share it with you. But I took a picture. I could not get to it, so I took a picture of the business card inside the plastic container. And here it is right here. I got it right here. Look.
Oh yeah.
See, it's inside that plastic thing. Look at
that. That's right.
But I will absolutely call and follow up with her today and see if I can get in to do some videography, some headshots, to go over some different programs, invite them to some different events, some CE. I'll follow up, right?
That's right.
And I'll follow up 6 times if I have to, if not a few more times until I can get a telephone call and get a conversation.
That's right. You got to keep trying. Got to keep building up a relationship as best as possible. Maybe it's not the right person for you either. You just never know, but you got to keep trying.
Right. Absolutely. And you know what? No harm, no foul. So what?
That's right.
They say, no, it's okay. No, it's okay. Next, there's another business card out there. Even if I got to go inside one of those little containers to get it, I'll find another one. So, all right, my man. I'm gonna let you get to your day, my friend.
All right, man.
It's 9:55. Have a good Follow-Up Friday. Have a great weekend, and I'll chat with you later.
All right, we'll talk to you.
Take care, buddy.
Bye.
Bye-bye.